I want to bring in Bob Vander Plaats, who is a really important voice in Iowa Republican politics. He is deeply embedded in the evangelical community here in Iowa, knows it well, knows the ins and outs and inner workings of politics. So Bob, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.
So let's give my audience just a sense of the evangelical vote in Iowa. How large is it? What percentage do you imagine it will make up of the caucus attendees come January 2024?
Well, it's a very important lane for the Iowa caucuses. Our best estimate would be about 63% of the Iowa caucuses will be an evangelical-based vote. 2016, when Trump was supposed to win by 5 and Cruz won by 4, a 9-point swing, in large part there was a surge of evangelical voters. 50,000 new evangelical voters turned out to the Iowa caucuses in 2016. So it's a very important lane.
And how would you say they are assessing this race right now?
I would say they're exceptionally wide open. First of all, the former president, they're very thankful for a lot of things he did. From a vibrant economy, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, standing up for the sanctity of human life, the appointment of 3 justices. But that being said, I think they really believe he presents the highest hurdle of winning in 2024. So therefore, they're looking at DeSantis, Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Mike Pence. It's a good field, and they're kicking the tires right now. That's what they do in August prior to the caucuses.
When they ask you what you believe, what do you tell them?
I tell them, first of all, I'm a friend to the former president, been a friend to him for over a decade, and I just really believe that America's at the point where they want to turn the page. Turn the page not just on Joe Biden, but they want to go to the next generational leader, somebody with a vision for the future versus a complaint about the past. And so therefore, we're very wide open, too, of taking a look at who could be that standard bearer who could not only win the nomination, but win the general as well.
What is former President Trump's biggest flaw in your eyes and in the eyes of evangelical Christians here in Iowa?
I would say his biggest flaw, his biggest hurdle is that there's just an exhaustion level of saying whether it's 1 indictment, 2 indictments, 3 indictments, 4 indictments, this constant cloud, whether it's the election of 2020 or some other thing that keeps it popping up. They really want to be focused on the future of America versus constantly debating this stuff. So I think that's where they're saying, let's turn the page. Let's go to that next generational leader who excites us about a vision for America.
Do you intend to endorse in this race, and if so, when?
You know, I do plan on endorsing, and I always say I'd like to stay out of it, but that's not my nature. So I've endorsed in the last 3. I would say somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas is probably where I will try to weigh in. All of our events will be done by then. I have a front row seat, and I think part of leadership is letting your followers know, what did you assess, what do you see?
You have an event in November that's going to be pretty important, will it not?
Well, yes, the event in November. We just had one in July, the Leadership Summit.
Everyone came here, almost everyone.
Except for the former president. 2,200 evangelical voters, 150 media outlet, and now we're going to have the Presidential Family Forum the weekend prior to Thanksgiving. We'll gather the candidates around the Thanksgiving table. This isn't about bashing each other at the Thanksgiving table. It's about discussing the future of the country collectively, and then we're going to try to assess who's best prepared at this time to lead.
You know as well as I do, Bob, the tea leaf readers in Washington believe you're all in for DeSantis.
Sure they do. And the reason they think I'm all in for DeSantis is that right now DeSantis is probably the clear front runner to be the alternative to Trump. What I have said is we need to find an alternative that we can gather around that will unite the party. So if that's DeSantis in August, the question is going to be, is that DeSantis in November? I think Vivek Ramaswamy would say he believes he's got a shot. I think Nikki Haley would say, Tim Scott, Mike Pence would all say, no, they have a case to be made. And I try to read our followers, our supporters, our base before I weigh in on an endorsement. Who's really energizing them?
And there are 2 schools of thought about Ron DeSantis. One, he got off to a terrible start, and that terrible start is fatal. The other is he got off to a bad start, campaigns can rebound, and he is building a ground game in Iowa. Which one do you think is more closely aligned to the truth?
I believe Governor DeSantis has come out with a very solid start. Matter of fact,
really?
I do. And I think it would have been a problem had he ascended right away and peaked. I don't know if he could have sustained it. What he needs to do now is grind this thing out. The 99 counties that he's going to be doing, building that grassroots organization, announcing 99 county chairs, announcing key endorsements. He needs to be built for last. The grind will serve him well long term. And right now, he's got a lot to rest on with all the results he's done in Florida as governor, in particular, turning it from a toss-up state to winning overwhelmingly in 2022.
Joni Ernst told me yesterday, the Republican senator here, that she believes Trump will win Iowa.
I don't believe that to be the case. Here's what I believe. I believe Trump has got 25 to 30, maybe 35% of support that's going to go for him. The accounting teacher in me says that means he's got 65% or 75% looking for an alternative to him. If there's a leader that can coalesce that support, I think Trump is tailor-made to get defeated here. And I think that's how crucial Iowa is this go-around. If Trump gets beat here, I think it's game on of a nomination. If Trump wins here, I think he runs the table to the nomination.
Evaluate Trump's spat with the sitting governor, Kim Reynolds.
Not helpful at all. Matter of fact, I'm not sure why he would do that. And he's not only done it once, questioning her loyalty, but then coming to the state fair here last week, Saturday, and not sitting down for a fair-side chat. Governor Reynolds is the most popular governor in my lifetime in the state of Iowa. They love her. She wants to make it an open, fair playing field for all. But
said she's not going to endorse,
right.
And Trump has said that's an act of disloyalty.
However, if she gets in and endorses somebody other than Trump, that is not beneficial to Trump.
That could have a galvanizing effect.
Huge galvanizing effect. I think she is the best suited politician to really put a thumb on the scale if she chooses to do that.
You talked about your accounting background. Let's do the math. I did the math in 2016. Everyone did it. Yeah. 30 to 35%, then you have the 65%. But if you divide 65 by 7, Trump wins.
Exactly. And so what it is that there needs to be a coalescing, there's no doubt.
When does that need to happen?
I think it needs to happen early. But I think a candidate with these type of numbers available, 65 to 75%, if they show they're the ones to coalesce, I think you could see them coalesce 40+% in the Iowa caucuses. And I think would give a message to the other candidates and the rest of the country who's the clear alternative to Trump.
Before I let you go, when your members tell you that they are exhausted, what does that really mean?
I think it really means the name calling.
From Trump.
From Trump, the constant, under this cloud of investigation for everything. Some of them, they would say, that makes me more loyal to the president. But for those who are exhausted by it, they just want good, principled leadership for this country that's bold and courageous. That's what they're looking for.
Anyone who we haven't talked about that is doing surprisingly well in your vantage point?
First of all, we have a good field. Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Tim Scott. Vivek Ramaswamy might be the most surprising. 37 years old. He's first run at any office, and people like his message a lot.
You think he's going to have a moment?
I think he may have a moment, but I think Tim Scott may have a moment. I think Pence may have a moment. Nikki Haley may have a moment. DeSantis may have a moment.
Bob, you know there are only
momentum.
You know there are only so many moments to go around. Bob Vander Plaats, I appreciate the time and your expertise. Thanks so much.